Turn the pages, feel the beat, dance with words, move your feet.
Hello everyone. Welcome to the start of this week's vlog. And today's reading Dippit, woohoo! Alright, so I just finished reading Anatomy of an Alibi by Ashley Elston, and oh my goodness, so good. Right, so that we follow Camille, Hank, and Aubrey through the entire book, and it's really set up that it's going to be this one person and who committed the crime, and they're like setting up the alibi for it to be somebody else. But is that the truth? No, it took a turn that I wasn't really expecting, and it's just, oh my goodness, really liked it. So I'm not going to give away any spoilers because I want others to read it, but just so you know, it didn't go the way that I wanted it to, or that it went the way that I wanted to, in this sense where like you're made to believe it's going to be somebody and it's not. You know what I mean? So I'm really excited about that. So the book I'm going to read next is a library hold that I've been waiting to come in for a while. I'm going to wait to let you guys know what it is later. But it is just quite the thing, Just like how the library books, some books come and go, and it's just, I don't know. I like having the library there, even though I have this wonderful library full of books that I haven't read yet and that I want to be reading. But it is just something different, you know what I mean? But it really is the anatomy of an alibi is really what it is. It's just how do you get away with things, and it's just the connections, and just who and sometimes you may get things wrong, and it's just how people don't correct you, and it's just marvelous, quite marvelous at the end of the day. But anyways, that's kind of it. I'm going to continue on reading and have a great time for the rest of my night. I maybe will pick up, maybe read a few chapters of All My Puny Sorrows. Not too sure. Maybe listen to the my audiobook. I don't know. But right now, I'm just going to let Anatomy of an Alibi just kind of sit and enjoy. Yeah. Alright. Double thumbs up. And we'll catch you on the next bit. Bye! Hi, hello, welcome to this reading Dippit, woohoo! Alright, so I've just finished listening to The Lost Princess of Oz by L. Frank Baum, and it was really good. This is the 11th book in the Wizard of Oz series, and I really enjoyed it. It was like so super cute that, we have Ugu who has taken Ozma, and so Dorothy and the friends are taking to go and find her, which is a really great and wonderful thing that they're doing. Toto comes as well, and he's talking in this book, which is like amazing. So if you remember, Ugu is from the Patchwork Girl of Oz, and he is the magician that brought her he made like the ingredients or a potion to make her come alive. So of course the Patchwork Girl, or Scrap, comes along for their journey as well as like the Frogman, Button Bright, the Sawhorse, Betsy Button, just to name like a few, as well as like the Cookie Cook, because one of the things that was taken from her by Ugu was her magical pan, right? And so she wants to get it back, and she's just so distraught over it throughout the entire book, right? So throughout the book, we have, Dorothy and the gang meeting up with all these people, and more people join the troop to go find Ozma when they finally get to a land of bears. And we have the pink bear and the lavender bear and the king of bears. All three of them join them on this journey to go find Ugu and to help save Ozma. Once they get to Ugu's place, Dorothy finds the magical belt, puts it on, and is able to, draw some magic from the belt. And also because she's been practicing, she ends up putting a spell on Ugu to make him a dove, right? And so, but first, she wanted to be Dove of Peace, but she wasn't able to get the word peace out. So, and because Ugo is just so evil and mean, he becomes a Dove of War, but then he ends up calming down. But they are able to get Ozma, or he releases Ozma in the way where he had her hidden. And so then everybody together ends up going back to the Emerald City, and Ugo apologizes. So Dorothy was going to switch him back into his human form, but then Ugo decides that he wants to stay as a dove because he's young, limber, and able to do like certain things that he wasn't able to do before. And that way, if he ends up like regressing, like he can't really regress back into magic because he's a bird or a dove, so he can't really do any of these things. So he's kind of happy with that. And so then, of course, the book ends with a banquet, and they decide to just go on from there, and everything's so exciting. So yeah, give it a thumbs up. Hopefully everybody's doing alright, and we'll catch you on the next bit. Bye! Hello, and welcome to today's Dippit, and reading Dippit, I guess. And finally I have finished listening to The 10 Men of Oz by L. Frank Baum. And this book is kind of weird, especially near the end. What happened is that we have Nick Chopper, or the 10 Men, the Woot the Wanderer, and the Scarecrow go on this adventure to go find Nimmy Amy, so the 10 Men's old lover before he became the Tin Man, right? And so along the way they end up running into Mrs. Yoop, who's a giantess, and the giantess also has a fairy named Polychrome in her possession already. So in a fit of anger, the giantess turns the Tin Man into a tin owl, the Woot the Wanderer into a green monkey, the Scarecrow into a bear, and the fairy into a canary. So together they end up escaping the giantess, go back to the Emerald City to have Ozma turn them back into their regular forms, and then together they set out to find Nimmy Amy, and along the way they find another Tin Man, and so then all the group then goes to find Nimmy Amy, where they end up finding her that Nimmy Amy had ended up creating, so the witch is now gone, and Nimmy Amy has some of the potions that the witch had left behind, and the witch, so with these potions she ends up creating a new man out of all the flesh parts that were discarded after the Tin Men didn't need them anymore, and she's satisfied with this guy because he's already a trained husband and whatnot, right? And she's happy with him, so she's and she kind of forgot about the 2 Tin Men because she gets blessed with both worlds with having created this new man. So she tells them, the 10 Men, to go enjoy their life she has with her new man, or that she created, kind of a thing. So they're okay. So then the Scarecrow, Polychrome, the 2 Tin Men, and the Scarecrow, and Woot the Wanderer, go about their journey, and they just end up exploring the land of Oz. So kind of weird, kind of a good, but it was a kind of unique story though, kind of darker for a kid's book, but you know what, enjoyed it. Yeah, give it a thumbs up, and we'll catch you on next bit. Bye. Hello, and welcome to this reading Dippit. Woohoo! Alright, so I have now finished listening to the 13th book in the Wizard of Oz series, which is The Magic of Oz by L. Frank Baum. And this book was actually probably one of my favorites, another good one, and I think maybe because Dorothy and Toto are in a little bit more, but I don't know. But it has more so of the magic system in Oz, which I thought was really cool, and there wasn't really anything weird about it. So what the book is about is that there's this munchkin who discovers a method of transforming people or objects just by saying this one keyword. It's not just saying the word, it's how you say it. So the word is prescripskull. So you could be turn me into a bird, prescripskull, or turn that thing into wine, and it would be prescripskull, right, kind of a thing, and it would work. But if you turned yourself into a tree, you'd stay as a tree because you couldn't say the word prescripskull to get yourself out of that form, right? So there's this kid called, another munchkin kid named Kiki, who hears or finds out about this word. So then he ends up going on this adventure. While on this adventure, he runs into the former gnome king Ragudo, and Nagudo convinces Kiki to teach him the word, and they're gonna conquer Oz because they kicked him out of his own land. right? And you have to remember, the gnomes are also, like, they're the people that are afraid of eggs, right? Because if an egg touches them, it's like a really bad thing. Because the Rigudo wants, like, all this, what is it, revenge on the people of Oz. So what he wants is to convince all the animals of the land of Oz to go to what is it, the Emerald City, and to like conquer it, and then as soon as they're there, that they're going to transform them, because like they'll transform them back into human form, and they can have all this thing. So all the people of the Emerald City will then become animals, right? And that's just like kind of like what he wants. But in the land of, or in the Emerald City, it is Ozma's birthday, right? So Dorothy doesn't know what to get her for her birthday. So her and the Wizard of Oz end up going on this like big adventure to figure out what's a good thing to get her, right? And along the way, so Dorothy the Wizard, and then they go meet up with the Cowardly Lion and the Hungry Tiger, and they meet Kiki and Rigudo. And so Kiki ends up, or I guess Rigudo ends up figuring out what the prescription is and how to say it, and turns like Dorothy, the Hungry Tiger, the Wizard, and the Cowardly Lion all into like different things, right? Or different animals. The wizard ends up hearing the word prescription and then ends up being able to turn himself back into human form, and he's able to transform Dorothy the tiger and like the Cowardly Lion back into their like regular forms. I guess the only weird thing is that the Hungry Tiger likes to eat babies, right? But he restrains himself because he knows that's wrong. But it's just such a weird thing to put in a kid's book, right? That a tiger likes to eat babies. But anyways, all right, so he figures out this word, and then he ends up transforming Rigudo into a walnut, and he brings it back to the Emerald City, and they end up transforming him into a different back into like a man, and they make him like drink this water where he ends up like forgetting everything. So he forgets like all the revenge and who he wants to take on the Emerald City, and he forgets like everything. So they decide to kind of not keep him captive, but just to keep him in the Emerald City, right, as like a citizen, and kind of teach him the ways of the good, so that way, just in case he does end up remembering, he can't come back and cause like more havoc, right? But that was just kind of it. I don't know, it was pretty good at the end of the day, right? But my library holds came in, and that is She Didn't See It Coming by Shari Lapina. Ooh. So this is the book in which I'm going to start reading tonight, which I think is a good, wonderful choice and something I'm going to start doing. So yay, go me. Alright, that's kind of it. Alright, and have yourselves a wonderful night, and we'll catch you on the next Dippit. Bye! Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to this reading Dippit. Woohoo! Alright, so I have now finished Glinda of Oz by L. Frank Baum, and this book concludes the 14 original books that L. Frank Baum has written. Right? And so this book is about so we got Ozma, who's a fairy, Glinda, who's a sorceress, and the Oz, who's a wizard. But this book really follows, so Glinda knows everything that goes on in her land of Oz, but there's two groups of people, the Flatheads and the Squeezers, who kind of live along this one border. She doesn't really know anything about them, so she sends Ozma and Dorothy to go out and see what's going on and to learn more about them and to report back. So it turns out that like these two groups of people, the Flatheads and the Squeezers, were kind of like at odds or at war with each other, and that they didn't really like each other, and that Squeezers were kind of like oppressed a little bit. And so then Glinda comes, helps them out, and helps them, become more the more adaptable, and like the apt people end up coming and helping them out a lot. So it's just, they become two groups of people. We know more about these groups of people, and nobody's being at war, and there is no oppression by anybody, and everything's kind of fun and exciting. Woohoo! Alright, so now kind of happy that I am done with the original 14 Wizard of Oz books. Am I happy that I went through it? Yes. So I feel a little bit overwhelmed by it at the end of the day? A little bit, I'm not gonna lie. But I took more of a look into it, and that it looks like this woman by the name of Ruth Plumpy Thompson ended up writing another 19 books in this series because the publisher wanted to read more. Now, the place that I was like listening to these like audiobooks, they don't have these other 19 books as audiobooks, but they have a few of them as ebooks. So I don't know if I'm gonna take them out, or I think I'm just gonna put them to rest for right now. But it's just kind of funny that I just didn't know that, and it's just, oh my goodness. But at least it's done. At least it's over with. At least I am done with the Wizard of Oz series temporarily. I don't know if I will read the other 19. I kind of don't want to right now. The 14 is just fine with me, but who knows? Even my library, I can't even get the physical book for my library, so the next time I'm in, I'm definitely going to ask one of the librarians, see if they can help me out. I don't know. But other than that, so I'm just gonna give it a thumbs up, and we'll catch you on the next bit. Bye! Hello, 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 and welcome to this reading Dippit. Woohoo! Alright, so I've had a very, very productive book week, and I have finished listening to now Mary Poppins by P.L. Travers, and it was really good. Now, Mary Poppins, she comes to, the bank's house to look after the kids, and in the book there's actually 4 kids. There's Jane and Michael, and then twins John and Barbara, but the twins kind of take like a back seat to everything. And in the book, because Mary Poppins, like, she's able to, the twins are able to talk, but what happens is that we have Mary Poppins, they first go on this adventure to her uncle's place where they end up having tea in the ceiling because of this laughing gas, and then they end up going on a trip around the world, and then they end up going Christmas shopping, and just all these fun little things that these adventures that Jane and Michael go on. And then of course the book ends with it being the first day of spring, the west winds come, and Mary Poppins takes off. So that's just kind of a fun little tidbit of things that go on. Obviously there's a lot more that goes on, but the kids know, Jane and Michael know that the kids are going to have to come back, right? That the kids know that Mary Poppins is going to come back, so that's always fun and exciting. But my book of the month order came in, and I got It's Not Her by Mary Kubica. Right? I'm saying that wrong, but this is the bookmark that came with it. Very matchy. Love it. So yeah, I'm going to keep this. I'm going to read it. I don't know if this is going to be my next read or not, because I am reading She Didn't See It Coming by Sherry Lapina. So yeah, I think another thriller might be in the works for me. But I don't know. I've read more to this, and I'm pretty good. I'm liking it. Right? She really didn't see it coming. Oh my gosh. So I'm sure it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really interested in finding out more about that. But I probably won't finish this week, but I will on Sunday, hopefully. Anyways, that's kind of it for me. Hopefully everybody's doing alright, and we'll catch you on the next bit. Bye! Hello, 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 and welcome to this reading Dippit and the end of this week's vlog. Woohoo! Alright, so I was volunteering at the bookstore today, and I ended up seeing this book. To be honest, this is awkward, a novel in text. And so I looked at it, and it's there's all these text messages, memos, and notes and letters and stuff. I thought that was pretty cool, and so I got it for my niece, one of them, and I decided that I was going to give it a quick read. Didn't take me too long to read, and it's just, your stereotypical kind of middle school kind of issues where there's a dance and one of the friends is moving, and there's a new student that came in, and it's just, the crush got out, and they know about it, and it's just so right? So angsty to be in grade 6, you know what I mean? So it was a quick read. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I just liked the format of it, that it was just in all these weird characters kind of a thing. Or not characters, but in text. So easy read, fun, exciting. But yeah, that's kind of it. I think I've read a lot this week, mainly because they're audiobooks, but what can I say? So anyways, gonna give it a thumbs up. Hopefully everybody's doing alright. And we'll catch you on the next vlog. Bye!